I'll come back to the video that we started the camp with on Tuesday night. Or maybe I won't, because now I've forgotten what my point was going to be. It has to do with whether the whole system is moving fast, or whether it's just you that are moving fast and the boat's not actually going anywhere. All right? And again, I made this point a couple of times in video sessions. When you see good sculling, it looks like the boat is scooting along really nicely, and that the sculler within the boat is not moving as fast as the boat is. Right? When you see abrupt and spastic movements of the rower within the shell, usually means that the shell's not going anywhere, and the rower's trying really hard and making a lot of effort, but most of that effort is just getting poured into the ether and the water around him, and he's not going anywhere. So there's a famous story about a sculptor and someone admiring the sculptor's work and saying something along the lines of, "Wow, how do you just look at a block of marble and find a statue within it?" And the sculptor says, "It's easy. You just chip away everything that doesn't look like what you want the sculpture to look like." So that's, that's essentially what you're doing with your sculling. You are chipping away everything that doesn't look like good sculling, and what's left is good sculling. And you can make a lot of unnecessary motions, and obviously that's a gross exaggeration, but even when people are sculling reasonably competently, they are still making lots of little unnecessary motions that don't have anything to do with moving the boat forward. And so what I want to propose to you is, if you want to get faster, the quickest way to do that is to eliminate all the stuff that you're doing that isn't making the boat go. And to that end, when you are on the recovery, everything is flowing in one direction, or it should be. When you are on the drive, everything is flowing in the other direction, or it should be. And keeping that in mind, here you go on the recovery. I'm just trying to set myself up for the next stroke. And if I've got some parts of me moving in one direction and other parts of me not really following, and everything's just got to be smoothly flowing toward that catch position that I need to get in order to be in a powerful spot to propel the boat. And once my blades are in the water, everything needs to be flowing smoothly toward propelling the boat. And that's really, in a nutshell, all there is to sculling. On the recovery, everything flows one way until you're ready to catch. From the catch to the release, everything flows the other way until you're ready to release and start the next recovery. And we go in. We have these sort of Liberace style flourishes with our wrists and elbows and shoulders, and none of that moves the boat. We think, I have to do this motion to make the blade come out of the water. It's really, getting the blade to come out of the water is as simple as tapping down and letting your hands come away. And we overcomplicate things, and we this is going to be a non-word, but I think you'll know what I mean. We over-ornatify things when a good recovery is just sort of that way, and a good drive is sort of that way. And if everything's flowing one way on the recovery and the other way on the drive, and you don't do anything silly at the transitions, you just drop your blade in at the catch and go, and at the release you just tap down and keep the handle moving. Make the thing as simple as you can. One of our GRP athletes is kind of a master at that. If you watch Ben Dan, some of you saw him on the water earlier this week. There's virtually no fat. There's nothing extra in his stroke. He just goes forward and he goes back, and the boat goes really fast. So I said I would keep this brief, so I will talk just for a minute about starts and how valuable they can be to you, even if you're never going to do a sprint race. my eyes are going to glaze over because I'm never going to do a sprint race. I don't have to know how to do starts. But the act of doing a start requires some things of you in terms of mastery of the boat. The first stroke of a start starts here somewhere between the release and the catch, closer to the catch than the release. And you kind of got to find where you're most comfortable starting this stroke. Some people are comfortable way out here. Other people would prefer here. I recommend that you keep your heels down and get as close to the catch as you can get without letting your heels come up off the footboards. And then above all, when you start with this first stroke, don't try to do too much. If you just jump on things, the water resists you and the boat doesn't really go, it doesn't accelerate as smoothly as it could. So on the first stroke, just focus on smoothly accelerating and doing what the boat allows you to do. And then we go from there and continue to accelerate the boat. And then once the boat is up to speed, you've established a nice rhythm rather than having tried to turn the first 4 strokes into killing snakes of some sort. And this is John's boat, so it's rigged up to my eyeballs, and I found that first couple of strokes pretty awkward, but in any event, doing starts teaches you to be more comfortable out here in this quote-unquote vulnerable position. And I was talking to a couple of people down at the Hosmer Point Cove in the earlier row about, you know, as long as this boat is a scary and unstable place to you, you're going to have a really hard time improving your sculling to any great degree. You've got to get to where this is, you got to own this space, and that's really where the whole comfort in the boat session came from. Was another coach, Kevin McDermott, who works here, just gesturing broadly around himself, and for whatever skills he has as a sculler, Kevin is one of the most comfortable people in a boat that I've ever seen. He just inhabits this area, and he's like, okay, cool, here I am. And as long as you're, oh my God, I'm in this foreign place, and I'm a really tense sculler. It's hard to learn to scull that way. So, get comfortable in your boat.